Welcome everybody, November 3rd, Wednesday. I'm John Zidar. You're watching On the Top and Hot, and these are brought to you by Pennybois. Pennybois has alerts. Everybody's heard of PB alerts. Everybody loves them. But what you need to check out is Pennybois University. They truly have an education that is going to pay off. What I do on this show each day is DD. I go looking for OTC and penny stocks, primarily on the OTC market, but I could end up anywhere actually, looking for stocks that have catalysts or attention. One or the other can definitely make a stock move. We did this yesterday. Some of those stocks had a good morning bounce. Some kept running through the rest of the day, and a couple not so good. That's the way the ball bounces, or the stock bounces. So let's jump into this right now and see what we can find for today. As usual, I'm here at OTCmarkets.com doing my preliminary DD on OTC stocks. This is where the SEC and FINRA put all the information for these companies. Why go searching everywhere else when it's right here? That's what the site is for. Okay, first thing we're going to look at is how did the OTC market do today? Not as good as yesterday. We're about $1 billion down. We were at 3.5 billion, which was a high number for a long time, maybe over a year. And we did, even less shares. We did 20 billion of shares yesterday. Today we only did 18 billion. We did 492,000 trades yesterday and we're dropping 452. So not a great time on the OTC market. So if you made money today, you were trading well. All right, I come here to look for crowds. I'm looking for people. So I come over here to current market and this tells me the stocks that had the most interest. Interest means how many people are paying attention to it. And we can consider how much money the company's brought in, how many shares they've sold, or how many trades this company had that day. I like to look at the trades. I think that's the closest way to figure out how many people were interested in the stock. I see a stock that has 2,000 trades. I figure there's a few hundred people at least trading that stock. And that's a lot better than a stock that has 10 trades. 10 people, even if each one did one trade, is not a lot of people. So I look for high numbers and I just look at the advancers. They've already sorted this out for us. Now I am going to go to all the stocks on the OTC market. That's over 11,000 of them. We're not going to just go over $1 or over a nickel, which you could if that's what you're interested in. But I don't want to miss anything. So I'm going to open this up. Now these black diamonds over here are expert market. These have been pulled off of the open market, so you and I cannot buy them. They're not delisted. They're put in timeout. They've either done something wrong, which would make them skull and crossbones, which is a very bad thing. You don't ever want to touch those. Or they're just off the market because they didn't file on time. They're late on getting their financials in. And once they catch up, they get brought back onto the market. And in saying that, when these companies come back on the market, there is normally a very huge surge because of the excitement. People's investments are back. That's right. If you invested in these companies, your money is locked up. You can't buy or sell, and it's at the mercy of brokers and marketers who can buy and sell the stock, and they normally drive the price really down. So you can follow filings on any of these companies, and if you see that they have their filings and an attorney letter come out, chances are they're going to be going current soon, and you could catch a big rip. Now, all the rest are fair game. What I'm looking for is a big number like that one right there, 2,782. Now, I've not done any preliminary work here, so I don't know what we're going to find. I don't know if this is a perfect stock or just a piece of junk, but we're going to find out together. They did a ton of shares, 102 million shares sold today with 133% gain. So at least they've got our interest. And they're just under 3 cents. Pretty cheap. CGRA, not even familiar with the ticker off the top of my head. C Growth Capital. They are on the pink board and they are current. No problems, verified profile, and a transfer agent. So that's all good. Let's see what sort of volume she did have. We saw 102 million today. She normally only does 2 million. Folks, that's 50 times her normal volume. Relative volume times 50, definitely a crowd around this. And her security, talking about her share structure, that is, not so great. 266 million. It's not out of the water at a billion or anything, but 266 million with about 491 million on the entire market. So let's see if they have any money coming into the kettle. Yeah, they do. Take those 3 zeros, drop that behind here. They're at $250,000 this last year. And, well, actually, they did better just pre-COVID. They were doing much better. So, obviously, they took a hit during COVID. Now, let's see if there's any catalyst that just jumps out at us. Hopefully, we see some news. Ta-da! We did. We see some news. Sea Growth Capital moves all in with one-of-a-kind Bohemian Petroleum project. Not a clue. Let's jump into this news and see what we can find. So it says that the company announced it executed a letter of intent, so it's not a signed contract yet, but it's as close as you get, with WBS organization to acquire the rights and title interest in their Bohemian Petroleum project. This is 8,000 acres, target site for drilling for oil. This is an exploration site in the islands. The project is to be purchased for $15 million utilizing the company stock. So they're not going to be using cash for this. So there's your catalyst right there. Now, I don't think they have any more disclosures. While we're here, we're going to take a look just to be... No, they haven't had any more filings here in a few months. So we've got catalyst. They have bought some property from another company for drilling oil over in the Bohemian Petroleum project. So let's go see what that chart looks like and if that made a big dent. 133% is what they said. All right. I do my charting on TOS. That is what you see right now. That's Thinkorswim. You can get it for free. Just go over to TD Ameritrade. Sign up with them for a free account, and they'll give you a link. You can download this. You don't even have to trade with them, really. Just keep the account open. All right, before we jump into that company stock, I want to look at the ones we looked at yesterday. We looked at basically 5 of them here. The best one right here was Halo Collective. We said it would have a jump in the morning, and it did. It did jump. Now, we are on the 1-minute chart, so that jump was very quick. No doubt about it. It jumped from 226 up to 273. The next minute, you got a little bit more out of it, 282, and then it fell. So chances are you probably didn't catch a big bounce in the morning. I see we ended up with some. You could have got yourself about 15%, 10% maybe, but if you hung in, as we were saying, this company looked like it has a lot of growth to come. Cannabis does, and they're already making $12 million a quarter, so we know they're making money, and it did. It just followed this 200, the red line, without any problem, nice and even. This growth is beautiful. Now that was on the 1 minute. Let's take a look at 1 hour over the last month. This was the one that had the low, took a giant leap here. What was that? 24,000% from 2 cents to $4.90. Boom! Came all the way back down to here and has been climbing ever since. It's just been steady jumping each morning and getting higher and higher. So it looks as though it wants to continue to grow. This is a beautiful chart. This is what I'd like to see on the 5-minute. Ta-da! That's what we got. Now we can see we did have a big drop here at the end of the day. And you know, it hit a high. It pulled back in the same bar. That's the 5-minute. Let's come down to the 1 minute. All right, so we hit a high here. Dribble, 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 drop. So we did have some pull off, but it didn't break the 50. Not real concerned if it doesn't go below the 50. The 10 and the 20 are going to meander around. That's just what they do. And the 200 is the solid floor. You break that, well, who knows how far you're going. So it doesn't look like it's going to bounce in the morning as it normally does, but with the way this thing does constantly do that, I'd keep an eye on it nonetheless. The next one we had was GWSO. Again, not a big bounce first thing in the morning. When was this? This was 10 after 10. So you could have got out, because we say by 10:05 in the morning, you could have got out at $10 and it looked to open up around 9:34. So there was a 70-cent gain there if you got out in the morning bounce. You could have stayed in, and it is moving along. It didn't drop any, but it didn't gain a whole bunch more. And you can see, again, it is too riding the trend of the 200 on up. And does it look like it's going to continue that if we look at the 1 month chart? Where is that puppy? There it is. All right, it was riding up, took that dip under the 200, came above that 200 again, and is back on course, which is what we said it was going to do yesterday, that the 10 had gone way out and jumped right back into line right here, and it is. It's continuing on its path, so I would continue this to keep going too. CRCW, we looked at that, and it did have a bounce, happened pretty quick, came back down, so you could have ended up with... oh, it looks to be about 340, about 40-cent gain if you got out early. It dropped, and I don't know really what this one's going to do. I can't remember the news on it, but it had a quick morning bounce. Another one that was pretty quick. This did most of its jumping pre-market, hit its high pre-market, and fell at the bell. Now that's 1 hour. Let's come into 1 minute so you can get a real-time feel here. So it hit way up here, pre-market. And as soon as the bell rang, it fell all the way down to here. Fell again, and then started to climb. So if you tried to get into this too early, you would have been stuck in a bear trap and had to wait it out. And pretty much, well, she's down just a wee bit. Just went sideways the hard way. And you can see it's bouncing off the 200. You can see how important these SMAs are. They hold data, and the more days they have, the more data they have. So you can think of them as being thick power lines. This is a really thick one, and it's hard for this to get past it. And if it does, we have a problem. And it looks like it's trying to bounce off. The RSI and the MACD are not really strong. And the last one was SYSX, SYSX, pretty much a sideways play all day, and from the bell, fell. All right, the stock we are here to currently take a look at is CGRA. Doesn't look bad on the 1 minute chart at all. What does it look like on the 6 month, 4 hour? Well, she has been pretty much staying even keeled, up and down with some long flatlands here. And today was unusual. Today was definitely unusual. So this sale, or this purchase, I should say, of this Bahamian petroleum project was big news for it. That's the biggest bounce we can see in 6 months. Now, I personally would expect this to fall down. I would expect this to drop 50%. And you're looking, well, heck, it fell all the way down to here at a penny, and it's just under 3 cents up here. So let's see, I would expect that to be about right there, actually. So truly, I would expect this to come back down to here. But everything looks fairly strong. It doesn't look like it wants to fall. It really took off that low bubble. Not fast, but once it broke that 200. Once it broke that 200 and retested it, because that's what you get, one break and then a test, and normally something will happen. It's normally made up its mind, and boy, did it. It flew. So this could continue tomorrow. It doesn't look bad. If you look at the last 5 minutes, you can see we were on an uptrend. Everything, the volume is high. MACD is on the way down, but it's pulling off of its down pressure right now. It is trying to come back up, and the RSI just touched 60, which is where you start to get some more active pricing. So I would watch this in the morning. I don't know if it's going to give you a big bounce, but everything is set up for it to continue growing. That much it does look like. So I would keep my eye on this just for a nice growth. You might be able to get yourself another 33% out of this tomorrow if it follows pattern and suit. All right, we're going to continue scrolling down, looking for another big number. C'est la vie. Right there, 2,400. So I figure there's at least 1,000 people there. 232 million shares, 78% gain, just at a penny and a half roughly. TGGI. I'm familiar with this company. This is a shell company. They're not doing anything right now except waiting for a reverse merger. The CEO of this company Chen Ren. I do believe that is his name. Yeah, Chen Ren is the CEO, is also the CEO of a Chinese wine company that is already valued at $6 billion. And this company is meant to be the instrument for how they're going to do the reverse merger into the United States. Right here you can see the company was formed as an investment company planning to acquire companies in liquor industry in China. The company's sole purpose at this time is to locate and consummate a merger acquisition with a private entity. And I've read the newspaper articles from January. There are some more newspaper articles that were translated from China, and it shows this deal is happening. It's happening over there. It just hasn't solidified here, but it's going to. So this is going to jump. But with the share count, it needs to jump. Look at this, folks. 8.4 billion shares. Wow, that's ridiculous. I would hope they'd come and do something about this. But until they do the reverse merger, I don't expect a whole lot to change with any of this. So let's find some news. Let's find some disclosures. Is there a reason it's moving, or are people just getting hyped up about this? I see no filings there, and I see no filings there. Fingers crossed for news. I would love to see this because I am invested in this company. I keep adding to it little by little. Oh, that's not the news. Come on, news. Transglobal, that's 2020. No, we got nothing here. So I'm going to run over to BuzzHub, Twitter, and I'm going to see what they got to say about TGGI. So if you put a $ with the ticker up here and go to top, which is the most popular post, you can see what people are saying about that stock. TGGI, this was an hour ago, the Q3 is likely going to be even more explosive. My belief is that gets updated with October 1st, 2021 strike throughs. What they got anything here? Strike. I don't see anything fancy dancy there. Let me see. If you missed it, advertising budget 46 million. Okay, see, there was something in there. May TGGI received 300 million yuan, which is 46.5 million in advertising investment from a venture capital fund. All right, that's a serious investment fund. I feel like they're telling me something. All right, well, you can see there's a lot of buzz, though I'm not seeing any specific catalyst. There's just a lot of, and I don't want to call it hype, but there's a lot of excitement about what's going on. People are quite aware of it, and they're waiting for it. And they're looking for any sign to make it look like it's about to happen. And they're stirring people up to get in. All right, so let's go see what that chart looks like for TGGI. Wait a minute, before we go see the charts, I found something. I wanted to get a tad bit of information before we looked at the charts, and I stumbled across this. This is today, November 3rd, 2021. We did not see this filing over there on the OTC markets, and I don't know why, but in either case, as they were telling us on Twitter, this is a Form 10. They call it Form 1012B. There is 10K and 10Q. Both of those are financial, and this definitely looks like a financial disclosure. They have all the information about their company here. Everything from the background, as you can see, it's all in order from 2017, 2019. These are easy to read, 2021, so you can learn a lot about a company. And this is just pages. Look, folks, I'm just over here. I'm up here. There is these many more pages to go. So this is why it is running. This is the catalyst. The company's been quiet, if you will. There's just nothing been going on, and we've been waiting and waiting. And anytime the company communicates with you after a silent period is exciting. She's talking to me again. So that is what got the stock running. Let's go see how it looks on the chart. TGGI 6-month 4 hour. Now, I was looking, which is why I happened to find that. I was trying to see why this jumped on this date, 9/17, and I couldn't find any news. I couldn't find any filings. I don't know. It could be another Twitter push. But in either case, we did have a huge run up here from 006 up to 0.2, which is 2 cents. So you're talking about almost 400% there to get from here to there. Big bump back here, and that was when? Yeah, that's the stimulus month. Stimulus month, this was a very cheap stock. I'm not surprised people were investing in it. And then she lost a lot, but notice, when she falls, she only falls to her 200. That 200 is very thick and strong. You can depend on that for about 80% of your support most of the time. She not only bounced off that, she went sideways, just maintaining, and then today, just because the financial report, now it says they made $0. There's nothing in there about making money. It's just communication, what the company's done, where it's going, what it's doing, and we didn't pick it apart, but they have. And obviously there was a little more volume today, and what did they say? 76% gains. Let's come in on the 5-minute, 5-day. Wow. So, it's had little growth, but it's pretty much just been meandering sideways, and that's what this does. It has pops, goes sideways, pops, goes sideways. So we've had a pop today. And this is one of those pops because there was not actually any value added to the company, just some more excitement. I anticipate this to drop. I don't expect that to sit there. Now, obviously, that must have come out at the very end of the day, right there, and very well could see a bounce in the morning. What time was this? This came out at 3:20. So you had 40 minutes of climb there. They haven't had time to read that huge document. I think it's like 32 pages. God knows what they'll find, but Twitter will be posting it all night. And we could see a strong surge of volume tomorrow and a jump. Now we see a high bubble here, so we know what happened. It pulled back. Sure enough, you hit a high bubble, it pulled back. And it pulled back some more, and it went sideways, riding on its 10. It had a little bit of sale telling you that there were still shares wanting to be bought. Volume is strong. Cannot deny the volume is strong. The 200 is climbing up slowly. The MACD, of course, it dipped on the dip. That makes sense. And the RSI is at 61.62, so she does look good for a continuation tomorrow, just on a bounce in the morning. I don't know about a growth through the day. That's completely a different story without any real catalyst. But the fact that the filing came out late and lots of people will be reading and tweeting about it tonight, I expect us to get a bump in the morning. So put TGGI on your watch list for tomorrow morning. Good old TGGI. I'm liking hearing that one. Okay, we've got a lot of hundreds here. 300, 200, 400. That was Halo. That was the one we looked at earlier. It did run all day, and people are still interested in it from yesterday. So we would have looked at this 2 days in a row on our charts. This one, though, 3,200. Figure there's a couple thousand people trading this stock today. 67 million shares, 38% gains, and she's only at 7.5 cents. HYSR, and she is pink and current. This is Sun Hydrogen. Hydrogen's going to be king. 7.5 cents, 38%, pink current, transfer agent. Okay, what sort of volume? We know she did 67 million, but did we know she did 4 times as much volume today as yesterday? 4 times as much volume. So it is building up. What sort of share count does she have? Is that something to draw people in? No. No, she's at 2.7 billion shares. That's not going to entice anybody. Her financials, she must be making some. No, she ain't making nothing. And it doesn't say Shell Risk, nor does it say Shell up there, which is a little interesting. All right, is there any catalyst? Why did she move today? They have no press releases out since June. No press releases since June. Interesting. And News Online, they extended a partnership last month, but there's nothing here. So there must be some sort of disclosures. We have no disclosures and any filings, not since last month. So we got nothing here. So I guess we better go talk to Big Britter over at Twitter. We didn't see any filings, we didn't see any news, so I know we're probably going to see right there, MACD bullish crossover. We're probably going to see a lot of technicals, volume touches, 45. Sure, people are very into technicals on Twitter. A stock starts to move, they jump in it. Now this one doesn't have a low float, so it's a little surprising. Anybody know anything about this one? Over 62 million in stock purchase agreements and 1 billion shares diluted, but no revenue yet. What gives? Big revenue coming? That's a legitimate question. More technicals. Let's see here. If you finished green, that's HYSR short interest dropped by 95%. They started to cover. Volume and chart are bullish. HYSR is the most undervalued hydrogen stock in the entire market. They just extended an agreement with a big Germany company. 1,000% gains from here, in my opinion. That partnership was back October 18th. So it's not too far back, but it isn't current. So I don't see anything actually pushing this stock now, except there's a lot of positive buzz out there on social media. And like that, pushing over a double doji on the daily. You know, people are watching the technicals and it is starting to grow. So let's go see what the chart says and see how long it's been growing just on positive buzz. HYSR 6-month 4-hour downhill all the way till when? Till the low bubble. Look at that. 6 months falling, she hits this low bubble and changes her mind completely about everything. 3 days growth here, just under 100% from just over 3 cents to just over 7 cents. You can see that not only did the price jump, but it broke through the 50-day SMA. That's a thick power cord. And the 200, that's much thicker, and it blasted right through that. Lots of power on the MACD, lots of power on the RSI and the 4-hour. Let's come right on in on that 5-day, 5-minute. Boy, does that look beautiful. Look how gently that is swooping up. Seriously, this is nice and easy, not a lot of work, not a lot of crazy. A couple morning spikes, which we like to see. Look at that. That was a good morning spike there, and continued to grow. And look at the way she ended the day. On a high note, she is pushing the price up. Volume stair-stepped all the way up. MACD is climbing, RSI is in the fire on the 5-minute. Folks, that's a perfect setup just for a jump in the morning. And it did just have a bounce today. Oh, that's the wrong direction. Yeah, it did just bounce today, and it started off at 5.5 cents and went to just over 6.5 cents. So that was just about 15% jump in the morning. Took a dip, and what time did that hit? Well, that hit at 5 minutes to 10. That's why we say get out at 10:05. That's when the market takes a dip. Even if it wants to continue growing, you normally lose all your profits here and have to wait all day to get them back. But if that was your play, you could have gotten out here, bought back in, and played that all day. And maybe tomorrow morning, what we see here will happen again. She has got a nice swoop going up on that 200. Everything looks good on this one. I like this one, even though there's no catalyst, no news. She seems to want to grow and go. Now, each one of those looks like they're going to continue running tomorrow. Not just in the morning. They look like they've got the potential to keep running. And it's funny because not all of them really have anything I would call serious catalyst. But they have a lot of momentum being built up. The technicals are looking strong. And they're getting some history, which is now creating a trend. So watch those stocks. I like them. TGGI. Folks, that's kind of a no-brainer at the price it is right now going in. I know they've got over 8 billion shares. It's ridiculous. But a $6 billion company is going to change the price of that stock humongously. And you won't mind how many shares they have. It won't matter. So, hopefully I've shared some facts with you tonight you haven't seen before, seem interesting, maybe even profitable. Remember, the more you know, the more you're going to grow. See you, folks.